How is everyone? Hopefully you're doing good. Let's see here. Jay Thomas and Leroy. Jay Thomas. Leroy. I've been catching up on some things that I've really let slack. So got some doctor's appointments scheduled. Still researching, still digging. That didn't stop. Oh, I need to talk while I'm reading, huh? I missed you too. There's really not a lot of new stuff. I know supposedly the Kansas Children's Services is on the case, so at least that's what I've been told. So maybe they'll finish out what they started. And then we'll know a lot more. Yes, happy Thursday. I've actually been busy, but you're right. This case hasn't left my mind, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, since Easter, really haven't did much. Hey, nothing half-assed. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Hope things are going good for you, hon. There's my girly girl. Are you riding with me, girly girl, on the 11th? I need to call you. I would never forget about Jillian and Veronica. This case will stick with me for the rest of my life. There's really not anything new going on. Just same old stuff. Oh, Wrangler and Kristen had their baby. They had a baby girl on Tuesday. I know everybody's asking her name, but it's not my job to give her name, so she sure is cute. 6 pounds, 10 ounces, 18 inches long. Jay Thomas, I'm glad you're doing good. Yeah, we can just drive down there. We'll have to leave early. It's a 5-hour drive, so drive down there, take care of that, and come back. Not a problem. Yeah, Wrangler's really happy. He's still got a few days left in rehab, so running these YouTube streets. That's one thing I don't anymore. I don't really run the YouTube streets. Pretty much I've stuck to this case, and that's it. You'll be ready. Shoot, girly girl, you'll probably have to wake me up. Halloween's right around the corner, that's for sure. So I did notice something. Let's see here. They're getting license plate readers in the Panhandle. For those of you that's in the Panhandle.
At 6, law enforcement in the Panhandle are ramping up efforts to keep communities safe with the installation of new license plate readers.
News Channel 10's Canyon Cavazos learns about the recent addition of the devices.
License plate readers are currently being placed across key highways and intersections throughout the Panhandle.
We're able to purchase the lease of 107 license plate reader cameras to be placed all over the Texas Panhandle. And then for the FY25, 2 weeks ago, we awarded $275,000 to continue that contract.
Departments like Potter County, Canyon, Randall, Dumas will use them for monitoring vast stretches of highways and rural roads.
So what data is collected is location, the time of day, the vehicle license plate, and the code of the vehicle, and that's pretty much it.
While law enforcement praises the system for boosting security, some residents express concerns over privacy and data storage.
The LPR camera is, they think Big Brother's looking in, when really they're not. All they're doing is taking a picture of your car, which any citizen can do. In order for law enforcement to get further information, they actually have to run that vehicle, which they would anyway, if they saw the vehicle and thought it was suspicious, they could run that vehicle and get that information from the state.
According to McBroom, the data is deleted within 30 days. Canyon Cavazos, News Channel 10.
Anyway, that was for the Texas Panhandle. I wonder about the Oklahoma Panhandle. Are they going to be doing anything there? Kansas roads we already have the license plate readers. So if you run the Turnpike 35, your license plate's going to get read a lot. So not a lot going on. Got court on 9/11. Definitely plan on attending that. Yeah, it looks like they were talking about the Texas area only, but I mean, all states are doing it. I would assume Oklahoma is too. I Googled it. I didn't see anything yet, but yeah, I don't see anything. Yes, congratulations to Wrangler. Yeah. I mean, she's got 4 and now he's got 3. A lot of kiddos. Yes, girl, we know that firsthand, don't we? Can you change that at the tag office though? If your vehicle's white and you put a wrap around it that's black, can you change that at the tag office? Oh, okay. So I guess fair warning, if you're going to wrap or change the color of your vehicle, make sure you tell the tag office or you're going to get pulled over. Yes, they need some eyes in that panhandle. They need a lot in that panhandle. Ooh. Holy cow. All the very best for Wrangler and the family. Yeah, for sure. It has, okay, so the modular that runs the electronic jacks, it went out. So it is still being fixed. The modular was taken off and sent to Tiffin to be fixed. So it'll probably be next week before we get it. We're in no hurry. I was going to take it to Boise City, but it's all right. I have other vehicles I can take. I'm excited to go to the Balloon Fest in Albuquerque in October. Enjoy work, girly girl. She must have been on break. Oh, she's at her second job, probably. That lady works a lot. So, anyway, that's about, the thing with, yeah, I actually go to Albuquerque a lot. It's pretty cool at night to go up on the top and look at the lights flickering like a bowl. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, I go to Albuquerque a lot. We have a kid there and have a lot of friends at Spiders there, and Skybox is there. Skyboxing. Tim's there too, so. Did you know there are or were some FLDS members posted up near Boise City? No, I didn't. Wonder what that is. Is that Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ in Latter-day? Is that what you're talking about? They've been there for a while. If this is what you're talking about. I wish I'd have caught up on some rest. Whew. Let's see here. This must be what you're talking about. Members of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ in Latter-day Saints have lived in Boise City, Oklahoma. In 2014, a small group of LSDS members settled in Boise City, and soon others followed. The group began to buy property in the city and compete for local work. At the time, about a dozen members, including several brothers, lived in Boise City. The FLDS is a splinter group that has continued to practice its beliefs to this day. The church has other enclaves in Mancos, Colorado, Custer County, South Dakota, and Bonneville, British Columbia. Interesting. It's interesting. Wow. Warren Jeff's group, huh? Am I home now? Well, considers what you consider home to be. Hey, Lavender. Eagles and Stars. Again, there's really not a lot going on. You just got to wait for court. See what happens. Is there going to be a secret grand jury? I don't know. Not sure. I can honestly say I really don't have a problem with Tad's mom. I didn't even know who she was that day. Probably if I would have known who she was that day, I'd have been nicer because it's not her fault what they're going through. I mean, do I think she knew? Probably not. She probably didn't know. Ooh, interesting. Great to be on the live. I know. It's been a while. We're going to try to keep these lives down to under an hour. Still digging. Still researching. Still finding out new stuff. Kind of waiting to see what Kansas decides they're going to do with that case. Yes, the case needs to keep moving on. I mean, not that I've seen yet. I just know, like in the Idaho 4 case, pre-trial was fixing to start, and prosecution went and did the secret grand jury. So when they did that, the accused, BK, really didn't have a right but to waive his speedy trial. And here we are 2 years later, and looks like a trial is finally getting set up for next June. Hopefully that don't happen in this case. Hopefully this case goes quicker for the victim's sake and their families. Interesting. They've been charged, but you're you're not found guilty till you have a court of trial. What a grand jury does is basically the same thing as a pretrial, if you ask me. They get a group together and they come up with enough evidence to show them to see whether they can be indicted. I think they have a lot more evidence on this case too, because there's got to be a reason why there was no search crew looking for them. Hopefully that'll get answered. I mean, why was there no search crew out there looking after the first day? They would have the answers to that. Hopefully through the trial we'll get the answers to that. Good to hear from you and happy for Wrangler and family. Yes, we bought the bus. We haven't got it yet. So it had a modular go out on one of the electronic jacks before we picked it up. So the gentleman who has it sent it to Tiffin to get fixed. So hopefully no corruption. I agree. It should all come out. Still working on it pretty heavy. The burner phone's still pretty active, so I talked to several people on this. I hate to even call it a burner phone. I couldn't get no signal, so I had to get a phone that would get a signal down there. That's exactly why I got the phone. Let's see here. I don't think so. I mean, they've been charged, but I don't believe they've been indicted. Just been arrested. That's all I see. Oops. Hey, Joanne. Captain Rock's still here. Linda, not a lot going on today. Just dropped in to say hi. I haven't been live in a while. But as far as the 5 being indicted, they've just been arrested. Because if you look up what does it mean when someone is being indicted, it's usually when they draw some people together and do a grand jury indictment. So with that said, when a person is indicted, they are given formal notice that it is believed that they committed a crime. The indictment contains the basic information that informs the person of the charges against them. In the Idaho 4, they were set for pretrial, and at the last minute, they did a grand jury indictment, which knocked that pretrial out. So, will they do that here? I don't know. Outside observation opinion. No search, knowledge of events. Corruption you have and continue to bring out. Good job. Well, there's a lot going on in this case. Y'all know that. You know as well as I do. You also know there was stuff going on before this case. So, man, it'll all come out. There's no doubt in my mind that it'll all come out. If you listened the other night, I'll play it again. Because I had missed it. I had definitely missed it. Or it just didn't sink in when I watched it. And it was Tiffany Adams' previous attorney talking to News Nation, Cuomo. Which was very interesting. Let's see if I can find it again. I think this is it. Let's see here. I think this is it. Let me knock that off. Yeah, I still think that could happen here. I don't know. Oklahoma has some weird stuff going on, that's for sure.
I want to now bring in someone who knows a lot about the case and the custody dispute at the center of it. William Jewell is an attorney whose firm represented Veronica Butler's ex, Wrangler Rickman. Thank you so much, Mr. Jewell, for being with me tonight. This is such a complicated tale, and it's just so incredibly sad. But let me just start with your reaction to the extraordinary details that were listed in those 4 arrest affidavits.
Thank you for having me. I have read the affidavits. I cannot comment on them. So to be clear, we did not represent Wrangler Rickman. Mr. Stephen Jones and myself, we represented Tiffany Adams in the paternity case.
It's interesting because I was always under the impression that you represented her son, but that Tiffany was paying the bills. Was there any sort of truth to the fact that she had to cover her son's legal wranglings and custody problems?
Well, Wrangler had an attorney before Tiffany hired us. I do not know what their payment arrangement was, but we represented Tiffany herself.
So listen, it's really hard to report this story because so many people around town told us in whispered, hushed tones that Tiffany Adams was a dangerous woman and that they feared Tiffany Adams, feared so much what Tiffany Adams was capable of that they would not speak to us on camera or let us use their names. All they would say is, look out and be careful and don't go out there alone. Does that square at all with the woman that you know?
Not at all. Every time I met with Tiffany, she was always very, very nice, respectful, on time to the office. One thing I think that's important here is that the custody case was in Cimarron County, which is the county west of Texas County. And Cimarron County is about the furthest west that you can get, quite literally, before hitting New Mexico if you're in Oklahoma. Boise City is the county seat, and it is right on the New Mexico line. So in general, it's difficult to litigate a lawsuit in Cimarron County. You have to pay an attorney to drive 5 hours. So the nearest bigger city is Woodward. That's 4 hours away from Boise City. So you have all these extra costs added on top of the litigation, and it's just difficult to do. But
can I ask you, Mr. Jewell, can I ask you something? You said that your client, and I have to sort of reimagine this interview because your client, in my estimation, was the son. She was just paying the bills, but now you're saying you literally represented Tiffany. And you said that she was showed up on time, that she was kind, that she was polite. But there are claims in an affidavit against her that her own son made, saying that she threatened his life. She threatened to put a pistol to his head if she didn't do the things that he wanted. And there's several claims made that she was violent in the threats that she made to get her own way. There are also claims that she would not let her son see or visit with his own children. How do you respond to that?
Well, you have to understand that custody cases are always contentious, and there's always allegations thrown from one side to the other. We did not find any evidence that she had threatened her son or anything along those lines. Also,
custody is usually brutal between mom and dad fighting over the kids, not usually between dad and his mom fighting against the other party. That's why this is so weird, right? Like dad is claiming his own mom, who should be on his side, is making death threats against him and not letting him see his own kids. They should be in unison against the other party that they're trying to get custody from, which is now the long-suffering and very sad and late Veronica.
Well, I totally agree. That's not quite the direction it took, but I really can't comment on a whole lot of information about the paternity case. But it was contentious, that's for sure.
Sorry.
Let me ask you this. One of the claims, and this is hard to, obviously, I get it. I completely understand, William, that in a custody case, people will often say anything. They want their kids more than anything, right? So they will often throw any kind of allegation out there, and it takes a long time to sort of come up with the evidence to, substantiate it. But one of the claims that was made in all of this that allowed those children to be in the custody of Tiffany Adams was that their own mother had a brother or a stepbrother or a half-brother who had, quote, raped the children. Did you ever come up with any substantiated evidence that that was true? Because he has never been arrested. And I would think if there's a man raping 2 young children, there'd be an arrest.
Can't speak directly to that question because I was very involved in the case. But I will say that public court documents exist, which you could find that describe the issues in the paternity case.
Yeah. That's the problem. They're sealed, which is why we get people like you to get to as close to the details as we can, because it's very confounding. Just one last question. Are you surprised that these 4 people have been arrested along with your client?
I really can't talk about that.
Understand.
Yeah, Tiffany was always a great client, and so that's all I can say.
William Jewell, we'll have to see where the evidence takes us. I do appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching.
Then there was this one.
I could not imagine it. It was a shock to find out she was charged. I could not imagine it. It was a shock to find out she was charged.
When you look through the documents, counsel, and the recitation of what happened from the 16-year-old witness specifically, it is a pretty compelling narrative that your client was absolutely involved in this and it was planned. How do you understand that?
Well, to be fair, this has been a contentious custody and guardianship matter. And a lot of temporary orders have been entered by the court, but no final orders having been entered. It's gone on too long and it's too acrimoniously. Now, at Ms. Adams is a well-known member of the community. She's in the farming and ranching business. Her family is pioneers. She's on the board of the county hospital, and she's a farmer rancher. She has strong feelings. The children's mother and father were never married, so we have this custody battle. The father is serving at a time in prison, so he's not available. And she asked the court.
He's not in prison. He is in rehab, so he did get that wrong. And Wrangler is still in rehab with like 30 days to go.
In a petition for guardianship to be made the guardian of the children,
right.
In other words, custody. Now, what brought this on was the issue of temporary visitation and whether it would be
supervised or unsupervised.
Yes.
Right, but I get all that, and I get that it was ugly, counsel. What I'm saying is, did you ever get any indication that your client was willing, desperate enough to do anything violent to the mother just to keep custody of the kids?
I did not.
When you heard that, you say she's a member of the community, she's well known. Did you know that she was a part of an organization called God's Misfits that's supposedly this kind of anarchic organization that's anti-government, anti-rules?
I did not know that, but I'm not surprised. Cimarron County and much of the Panhandle is very individualistic, independent, mostly farmers and town suppliers, and very, very conservative. And I've represented people in the Panhandle over 50 years. And every time I go out there, I hear about a new group that doesn't believe in your dollar bill or other things. And that just goes on in Cimarron County. It's a small, isolated county, looks to Amarillo, shops Amarillo, watches Amarillo television, and they keep to themselves. But since 1960, they have changed politically. Very evangelical, very conspiratorial in the sense of not trusting the government. Now, that's probably half the county. The other half of the county is traditional farmers and ranchers,
right,
who pay their bills and participate in community life. So
well, this is the first half, it seems, we're dealing with here. Counsel, did you ever pick up anything in her that would have indicated she had this kind of character, that she could plan a hit basically on the mother of her grandchildren? I mean, we have some context here. Her own son, who's in rehab, I didn't understand him to be in prison, I thought he was in rehab, says that she was threatening him and saying that he better put his name on the things that she tells him to. I mean, she sounds like a mob boss more than a grandmother. You didn't pick up any of that in her?
I did not. And the reason I did not is because there's an element that has not been considered here. The Kansas Department of the Protection of Children and the county sheriff in Hugoton, Kansas, conducted a 27-page review of the allegations that Mrs. Butler's 18-year-old half-brother had sexually violated not only the two children here, but his own brother, plus others.
Right.
That report exists. I can assure you it's on the prosecutor's desk and on whoever represents her now. That was a very serious allegation.
Sure.
And Mrs. Adams' position was that Mrs. Butler didn't believe that her brother could do that.
Right.
Even though the department found that he could. And so for her to have visitation without supervision was dangerous to the children. And the judge has already found that there was probable cause to believe that this boy was a sexual predator and had attacked her children. Now, her son, and let's face it, they're estranged. These two people, the mother and father, were never married.
Right.
They're marginal in the economy, although the son has tried to turn himself around. And the allegations, every allegation that could be made is theirs. But the fact is, I've read the report. I know what it says.
Right. I believe that. I believe that the allegations for probable cause, as we both know, you being a much more veteran, officer of the court than I am, but probable cause is a very low standard. It was early on in the review. But even if all the allegations were true, the idea that the rational remedy, counsel, is to plan a hit on the mother and the person who's there to provide guidance, absenting someone that you like, right? Because there was another woman who was supposed to be there that the grandmother allegedly told not to come, and then murder them and bury them doesn't seem to be the right remedy for the best interests of the child.
No, and that's the state's case. If what you just said is true, then we have a horrible homicide in which two people were ambushed that were coming to pick up one of them's child. And it's gothic. It's something out of the Bates Motel. And it's a terrible thing. Whoever is responsible for it, it is shocking. There's no question about that.
I think that, the most surprising thing to me, especially this, and then I'll let you go, and I appreciate your time, Mr. Jones, is that you could know somebody through the course of this and be completely shocked that she had this level of animus towards the mother, that you never saw any trace of that.
I did not. I saw eccentricity. I saw Cimarron County individualism and independence, but I didn't see the prospect of homicide.
Stephen Jones, I appreciate you very much. I know that you're recovering from a procedure. I wish you the best. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go.
Then here was Veronica's.
We learned just a couple of hours ago that the two bodies recovered in Oklahoma over the weekend were, in fact, those of missing Kansas moms, Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. Allegedly, they were murdered after a car trip to pick up Veronica's children from their paternal grandmother in Oklahoma. Now, the paternal grandmother and her boyfriend and another couple were all arrested. The question becomes, why? Well, how could a custody battle turn deadly? Joining us exclusively is Oklahoma attorney Garrett Oates, who had recently been taken on to represent Veronica Butler in the custody battle. Now, in court documents, we learned that Veronica had accused Tiffany Adams, this grandmother, of essentially kidnapping her kids. A lot of you keep asking me, what is this habeas corpus? That is Latin. You have the body. It is a federal demand to produce somebody, in this case, the children. Counsel, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Chris. I'm glad to be here with you, but I'm also deeply saddened, and no one, especially in this position, this is not where I want to be for sure. So, but thank you for having me.
Understood. And I know how rare this is, a situation where you lose a client, let alone under these circumstances. But how have you been able to make sense of the motivation, even if it's madness in this? Do you think it was about this group, the misfits, or do you think this is about a grandmother with no more sense of morality who was willing to kill to keep the kids?
Chris, I can't speculate about the group. I was unaware of anything to do with this sovereign citizen group that you guys have been reporting on prior to law enforcement talking about that. Certainly there's been some information about them in the probable cause affidavits that have been released. But beyond that, I had absolutely no knowledge, had never heard of the group before law enforcement releasing that information. So to say that, I have any information as to whether or not that group was the motivation, I don't know that. what I do know is that Veronica was a lovely lady. She was what you want in a client. Absolutely. She was organized, diligent. She made my job a heck of a lot easier. She brought me 4 expanda files of information the first time I met her. That was all stickied and tallied, ready to go for me. She was extremely respectful. Just like I say, everything you want in a client and a person. She absolutely loved her children, and that was the goal, was absolutely to get her more time and then to be on the path to regain custody. That was our plan for sure.
Did Veronica have any kind of sense of what she was up against in this dispute?
Again, with regards to the group, I can't speculate as to that. And so, and Veronica had never mentioned the group to me either. So I'm at least of the belief
just the
that Veronica,
grandmother.
Just the grandmother. Certainly, when Veronica first met with me, there was the normal custody battle type information being exchanged where both parties, or from Veronica's perspective, right? I mean, both parties are really warring with each other, especially in a custody battle that had been going on for years, right? But beyond that, what really struck me was the information that you guys had reported on. Tiffany Adams' own son, Wrangler Rickman, had put some posts on social media about threats that his own mother had made against him. That was what really raised my eyebrows, firstly, in speaking with Veronica, and what I thought kind of made this a little bit different than a normal custody case. And certainly, like I say, raised my eyebrows, gave me some pretty serious cause for concern. But I think Veronica knew that obviously it was a very extremely serious situation, but to know that somebody is capable of doing something and then that they would do something, I mean, are 2 very different things.
Her sense or your sense about what was driving the grandmother's interest in the custody?
Oh, well, I mean, I certainly had many conversations with Veronica, both in person and I corresponded with her almost every day, which is not, I wouldn't say that's per usual for all of my custody cases at all. But it was really a keep me posted on every single thing because it was an ongoing dilemma. Like I say, I mean, it was going on for years. There were issues. I know you guys have reported on the filing that I filed as recent as March 20th, which I think really encapsulated the snapshot of how the situation was going in the custody battle as recent as March 20th, which was 10 days before the 30th when they were first declared missing. And so, it's, I think I think I share the same sentiment that Veronica did with regards to the controversy, the struggle that was going on in this case. And I was only retained in September of last year, so it's not as if I was in the case from the very beginning. But from my review of the court file, I mean, this was a very contentious matter from the very get-go. I mean, there were numerous hearings. The filing takes quite a while to scroll through the bottom to the bottom,
Right.
And so it was a very serious matter, very very contentious matter from the very beginning.
Well, to believe the authorities' suspicions at this point, it was serious enough that the grandmother was willing to kill the mother of the kids that she supposedly loves so much. So we'll see what sense we can make of it. And counsel, anything we can do to help you along the way or what you believe needs to be addressed, we're a call away. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for watching.
I agree with that, and I agree there was a lot going on. Did you guys not hear that last part? Sorry. Rock hasn't gone anywhere. What, there was no sound? Really? Oh, well. It was just Veronica's attorney talking. He said he was hired last September. We're surely to know more on September 18th. That's the next court date. Will they decide to do them separately, or will they decide to do them all together? Yeah, I don't know why it's something. I don't know why. You heard the video, but no sound. Weird. I don't know, guys. Just after it stopped. Huh. And maybe my mute button was hit. I don't know. Again, September 18th would be the next court date, and we should know a lot more. So there's a lot more to this case. I think all five should get the severest penalty they can get. I agree with that 1,000%. There's no reason that Veronica and Jillian should have been unalived, that's for sure. It's a horrible, horrible situation. And if you ask me, there's no situation that either one of them should have been unalived for. Like, this has gone far and beyond. Yeah, I did see them. What do you want to know about them? I'm just curious what you want to know about them. Let's see here. I'm looking. Let's see here. I think you're going to see a lot of different things filed. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. I know he asked. There you go. There's Cole's 8/21/2024. It's an order setting start dates for preliminary hearings. And then on 9/4, defendants brief in support of consolidation for preliminary hearing. So that was just filed yesterday. Another court paper. So it's 8/21. It's just an order setting dates for preliminary hearings. And then again, you see on 9/4, defendants brief in support of consolidation for preliminary hearing. Is that what you wanted to know? This is on Cole's. Cole Earl Twombly. It says attorney represented parties. Don't have the attorney's name on there. Is that what you was asking about? I agree, death penalty for all five. I still agree with that. anything surprise on them. I got you, Lollipop. I understand. Like I said, it's just trying to set preliminary hearings. Guys, he's got stomach problems that he supposedly has had since he got in jail. I had several people text me and say he got stabbed. I've not heard that or seen that, so I'm going to rule out that he got stabbed in the stomach. I had not seen anything like that, and I think we would have heard about it. But he definitely is complaining about something wrong with his stomach. Yeah, and he wants his separate pretrial. I never understood why they'd want to do them all together anyway. That just makes no sense to me. I guess it might come down to who did what their part in this was. You know, there's 5 of them. What was each of them's part in this unaliving? What did they know? They obviously all 5 knew. I think they all should be charged. You can't go out and take the law into your own hands, that's for sure. I bet you're right, Christopher. You know, it's really weird, and I was trying to think back because a couple people said it when I was boots on the ground. And it didn't make sense to me then. It makes more sense to me now. Not that it's right. But back then they said that the 5 was just trying to protect Wrangler and Veronica's kids. By unaliving 2 people? Like, Jillian had nothing to do with it. And Veronica already had supervised visitation, so had supervised visitation, the kids wasn't being around the person that supposedly abused them, right? I don't know. And where is the kids now? Where is hopefully they're being taken well care of. I assume they are. Most people know where the kids are. This is not the kids' fault. Any of the kids' fault. It's not Wrangler's fault. I don't believe he knew anything about it. But court will show you. They'll get that out in court. Got to get this trial started. Will they skip a pretrial? Will they still do a pretrial? Does everybody know what happens in a pretrial? I mean, they're all considered innocent until proven guilty. I think there's a lot of evidence in this. A pretrial conference is a meeting between the judge and the parties involved in a trial to discuss the case and prepare for trial. At a pretrial conference, the following can happen. Plea bargains. The parties may discuss a plea bargain, and the judge may determine if a plea of guilty is agreed upon. If a plea agreement is reached, it will be written and submitted to the judge for review. Evidence. The parties may discuss what evidence will be presented in court. Then there's dates. The judge may set dates for tasks to be completed. Case issues. The parties may discuss the issues, laws, or facts of the case. Then there's the judge's opinion. The judge may give the parties an opinion on how the case may turn out if it goes to trial. Settlement. The parties may consider settlement, which can save time and money. The process for a pretrial conference may differ depending on whether the case is a misdemeanor or felony. So, guess we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, I agree. I'm scared for the kids. They need to be with their dad, not everyone else. I agree. I believe as soon as Wrangler gets out of his rehab, he'll have his kids back. So, I mean, he is the last living parent to have, and there's nothing to show that Wrangler had anything to do with any of this. So, I mean, I haven't seen anything. I agree. I agree they need to be with their dad. Wrangler sounds healthy, doing good, just had another baby. I'm sure he's going to be excited to get out of that rehab. I believe he's taking the rehab seriously. You know, I don't believe he's got to see his kids while he's been in this rehab. Which I don't know why. Like, maybe that's up to the judge, but the judge will decide with Wrangler whether or not he can get the kids, which I think he'll get them. And then this case will go forward. Like, we did lose 2 lives here, Veronica and Julian, and they deserve justice. Their family deserves justice. I don't blame any of the family members. Like I said before, I don't even blame Tad's mom. Like, I didn't even know who she was. If I would have realized that that's who that was, I would have acted different. I know I would have. Because actually, I feel sorry for her too. You know, she's caught up in this. Her son did something horrendous, is what it sounds like, and I wouldn't know. You know, I wouldn't know what to do. She's going to believe her son, and she's going to support her son. I don't find that wrong. I really don't know what she knows. The same thing with Tiffany's sisters, who kept them out of it. You know, can't blame them for what Tiffany does. Nor did they probably know. They probably didn't even know what was going on. I think this was a sad deal. The only person that should be telling them what happened. You know, I don't know that they're going to move the trial. Sounds like they're going to try to keep it there, which is strange. It's an awful small courtroom, so I think it needs moved. But that's my personal opinion. Just because I haven't been live don't mean I haven't been digging. So I've been digging. My mind never goes off this case. You know, sometimes you run across stuff that you don't want to discuss and you discuss it. Does that make you a bad person for telling the truth? Seems like some people don't want certain things known. And you heard the attorney, there's a 20, I only saw a 7-page. He said there's a 27-page document. I'd be interested to see the rest of that. I only saw 7 pages. But even if that all was correct, it still gives no one a right to take other lives. I do believe that the state of Kansas will step in with the Children's Services and finish that case. I don't think it ever got finished from what I see. I seen where they said sustained and they was waiting on some stuff from Prairie View, but nothing else. But we shall find out. That's why they have a trial. And if they have an open trial, you should go. But the pre-trials are just going to basically show the evidence they got and whether or not they got enough to go to court. That's how that'll go. Do you guys think somebody's flipping? You think they're talking? I mean, you got 5 people. At some point, there's going to be people talking out of them 5. It's definitely a case that we'll all be tuned into. I don't think they'll have it to where the trial will be videoed. I mean, the way they have it now, you can't even take your cell phones in. So, like, if people wanted to tweet, I wish they would move the trial. I'd like to see the trial get moved. Lollipop says she thinks they will. Or you do think people's talking? I think both of them two are talking. And Christopher, you're absolutely right. There are 5 different versions, I guarantee it. Again, I'd like to see when it comes out what law enforcement knew the day they went missing. What kept them from setting up a command center and searching for these 2 ladies, Veronica and Jillian? Why wasn't they searching? That's the big question. What did they already know as to why they wasn't searching? You know, and then there was the audio. Let me I'll play that again for you. There was the audio that one of the farmers was talking in. And that was 6 days in. And he definitely says the names of the says the names of where the bodies was found. So let's see here. We'll play that audio again because it's something. And at 6 days in, this audio was kind of crazy. I'm looking here. Let's see here. Well, of course, they would have figured out where the phone's being. Hold on just a second. Oh, right. Anyway, was going to try to find the audio, but I've got it saved. You're welcome. And we are over an hour, so we're going to go. Exactly. I think they already knew. That's why they didn't search. Listen, I think everything's too close down there. I think they all know each other. It's crazy. More and more will come out. The audio's been released. There's a lot going on. I think the best part is just to wait and see what they bring out in trial. There's going to be a lot. A lot of people knew in that area, that's for sure. I mean, Derek said that they knew that day. A lot of people knew. What did they know? To what extent did they know? We know 6 days in, a certain farmer was talking about Beasley and talking about a skidster. I want to know more, that's for sure. I don't know. I just know there's got to be a lot more to this. I think it falls back on what happened with the children and maybe the half brothers. I think it falls back that far. So I'm going to keep digging. I'm not going to stop digging. It seems like everybody knows everybody there. For sure. I mean, the DA, I believe he knows the 5 accused. Exactly. Well, it said he dug the hole on that Friday. Is what they said. And Annette, you may be right. I don't think he's going to say he just dug the hole. And, everybody says that thinks they was blocked off to go off the road onto L Road. I'd like to be shown different because I don't believe it happened there. I believe they met somewhere else. I believe a phone call happened and they met somewhere else. I don't know Beasley myself to even be able to say anything. This is a YouTube channel for entertainment purposes only. These are my opinions. But my opinion is, how could he miss them digging that big hole right there? I mean, his house is right there too. And he talked to Tad about the hole. Tad told him he was putting cement in that hole. I don't know. It all just seems really weird. But we got to hold on tight. More news will come out, especially when the trial starts going. It's going to be really interesting to see what comes out in the trials and who knew what and what was going on. But I'll go live again here in a couple days. Like I said, I've been digging on a few things myself on this case. But they all seem to know each other. Like, from LE all the way up, they all know each other. I don't believe that. Somebody said, and again, I don't know how true this is, so I probably shouldn't even say it, but he likes to gamble and he drinks a lot. I don't know. Somewhere I read that he had been out gambling late, and that's why he slept so late the next day. So, heavens to Betsy, I don't know. How will we know? Maybe there's some hidden cameras. Maybe there's some cameras on Beasley's house that we don't know about that they were able to get. I will say, if you're one that don't have cameras on your house, you should change that. I think everybody should have cameras. I don't care if you're out in the country or not. If you've got internet, you should have cameras. That's what I think. I don't think video lies. Like, I'd find it hard to believe that people out there in the country don't have cameras too. I mean, they've got internet. We have hardwired cameras and we have Ring cameras. So if for some reason the internet goes out, our cameras are still going. But I don't know. I even went by that Seaboard and I didn't see any cameras. So it's kind of strange. Yarborough School didn't have cameras. And last time I talked to them, they had got a grant to get better security and to get security cameras. And actually, even cameras there probably wouldn't do any good in this situation because it would just show what time Veronica and Julian passed by there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Leroy. Most country folks have lots of cameras, whether it be trail cameras or just cameras. I mean, like where El Road is, all that cattle across the way is a Kansas rancher's cattle. I mean, I wonder if they have any trail cams over there. It'd be interesting. Either way, we got to get justice for Veronica and Julian. They're in no situation that could be even said, would it be okay for that to have happened to them, for them to be unalived? Like, there's no situation that I see that could even justify it. And I think the 5 should get the death penalty. They all knew, and I think anybody that knew that it happened or that it was going to happen, I hope they all come forward and get talked to. Because even if you knew and then you did nothing about it, it makes for some issues. And I sure got the feeling that a lot of people knew about it. And everybody was talking about it. So it's kind of crazy. Let's get this trial started so we can learn more. They were all paid to help. I know they were counting on nobody to find out. And now they are shitting. Yeah, I think they was counting on nobody to find out. I'm finding more and more cases in Oklahoma being unsolved. The one in Johnson City, and then the nurse, the Oklahoma nurse that wound up missing. They never did find her body either. And there's 2 more cases I'm looking at from Oklahoma. Same thing. Bodies never found. But we all know CW is a hero. She stepped forward. Now, I think she might have stepped forward as early as Tuesday that'll be interesting. I know it would take a lot. At least she did the right thing. Because would we have found them? Would we have found the bodies? I don't think so. I find it, I mean, how would we have known other than people talking? And to really get down to the bottom of it, it'll have to be the trial. The trial will have to go forward, and I think there will be details in that trial that people are going to go, wow. Yeah, I agree. If CW knew that much, then these loudmouths talked in front of everyone. Well, you remember Travis, right? She had told Travis that she spent $400,000 trying to keep the kids. I mean, how much did Travis know? He was defending them. It's going to be interesting. See who else called in as witnesses, and there's a whole witness list we haven't seen. So just got to hang in there and keep talking about it. Keep the case forward. Make sure people know that we're still watching. And I never read, that's what's strange, I never read any names or anything like that on anything I found. So even with the paperwork I had, I marked out the names. The paperwork I have does not have the names marked out. I marked out the names. So to say that I read names, that's incorrect. I didn't read any names. Nor would I. Was I shocked at what I read? Yeah. Extremely shocked. But it'll all come out. Just gotta hang in there. I'll continue to do the lives. Rock, have you heard about the Henrietta massacre involving 6 kids and 2 adults? And how local LE mishandled that case? Is that the one where the bodies was found all over the land? And because there was one in Oklahoma not too long ago, and it was some young teenage girls too that got murdered, and the stepdad of the one killed all them, killed himself, killed his wife, but their bodies was stretched out across the property. And I remember seeing where the parents went in on that one into the house and found their daughter's cell phone. So I don't know.
Someone was detected at your driveway.
Yeah. But with that said, I'll look into that. I think that's the one you're talking about, though, Cowgirl. We're going to get off here for now, and I'll see you maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Probably Sunday. Today's Thursday. Probably Sunday. Unless something comes up before then. But just know I'm still looking at it, still digging through it. I might come on before then just to talk to you guys and say hi, see if you got anything new to say. You can always reach out to me. You can always reach the burner phone for sure. If you got something to say or want to get in touch with me, there's the burner phone. not going to play any more music because it seems to keep.
Sorry,
Keeps yeah, thank you for mental health services. I'm pretty sure that's the one I'm talking about, Cowgirl, but I will go look that up. I wrote it down. Henrietta 8. But yeah, it was teenage kids. Some of them were the girls' friends. I'm pretty sure that's the one I'm talking about. It's the same one. Well, I guess the good thing about this one is we have the people in custody, so you're going to get exactly what went down, whereas the case you're talking about, he killed himself, so there was a lot of unanswered questions as to why and what went down. At least with 5 being arrested, hopefully we'll figure out exactly why this happened and what did they know and what made them do such a thing. Just because they think they were right don't mean they were right. Like, I find it just a horrible crime. Anyway, if you need to reach me, you can reach me at that burner number. Other than that, I'm going to let you guys go. I did miss talking to you. And I'm going to keep digging in this case and seeing what else is going to happen. Hope everyone is doing well. You know, the victims' families, I'm always concerned about them. Even though some of them think I'm not. But sometimes when you come across stuff, is it right to hide it? Or is it right to tell the truth and everybody knows the truth about everything? It don't make it acceptable for what happened here. Like, nobody's saying it's okay what happened to Veronica and Jillian. We're all saying it was wrong. We're all saying they should get the death penalty for it. But it's such a horrendous crime that I know everybody's wondering how could it go this far. I think you're gonna get some ideas of how it went this far. Whether it be wrong or right, who am I to judge that? Seems wrong to me, but also it seems like the system is real slow at fixing things and taking care of problems. I don't know. I guess we'll see, but much love to everybody. Be good to each other. Treat people the way you want to be treated. You always go far in life. And I'll be back live probably Sunday, if not before then. Hope you have a great Thursday. Hope you have a great weekend. Kansas State Fair starts tomorrow, so if you're bored, you can go to Hutchinson, Kansas and go to the fair. It's always a fun fair. If you're one that likes fairs, the Kansas State Fair is starting tomorrow. We'll catch you guys later.